Hello, Gremolinos. It is I, Catherine, your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. And I am here for a video that I have decided to do that is a little goofy. So, if you don't know, Pizza Hut brought back the Book It challenge. So, if you didn't grow up in the, I think it was 80s and 90s, I say this because I was born in 1990, so 90s for me, but I think it existed before that. Book It was a thing where you were assigned a certain number of books, I believe, and you had to complete that certain number. I remember having a button that said Book It, and I had to get 5 stickers. And once I got those 5 stickers, I could get a free personal pan pizza, but I don't remember the ins and outs of that. I did look, and it used to be your school assigned an amount of books to read, and then once you hit those benchmarks, you would get the free pizza, but I truly don't remember that. Currently, Book It is an app, so parents are supposed to track their kids' reading by days read, and you have to hit 15 days read in a row, I believe is how that works. And then once you hit that, you put in a claim at the end of the month to show my kid read this many days, and then they get kind of a digital coupon for the free personal pan pizza. Also, they're really banking on the nostalgia because currently personal pan pizzas are $3. It's a thing they're doing for retro. They brought back a bunch of retro combos. Retro pricing is their whole argument. But because Book It has been all over my Instagram and I've been getting ads for the Pizza Hut Book It thing, they literally were calling putting Book It in the ad for the pizzas. I decided I wanted to do a sort of nostalgia fueled video called Babysitter's Club Book It reading vlog, and I have chosen that because I will be reading this basket of Babysitter's Club books. Many of these were actually almost all of them, excluding one, are all from 80s, 90s. Some are the republished ones from a little earlier. And I will also be reading the brand new Babysitter Summer, which is a fan edition that was done. Now, from what I can tell, sorry, there's a hair in my eye, which is not a me hair, it's totally a dog or cat hair. Yep, it's just in my eyeball. It is set, I'm not entirely sure when it's set, because a couple people from what I read online were saying it's set before a change to the Babysitter's Club. So it's a little bit interesting to me. I don't know if there's a firm timeline for this, but we'll see. But I have 12 other Babysitter's Club books here, varying from standard Babysitter's Club to super specials. I am not going to tell you the books in advance. I'll tell you once I have read them. And also, my attempt was to do 15 books because 15 days, 15 books, that seems like an equivalent. I kind of ran out of hold space at my library. I had requested so many Babysitter's Club books and other books. I only have 13 books here. So I'm going with, this will take me technically 15 hours of reading time, technically. In that I would normally count for the summer reading thing that they're doing in my library for adults, I would typically count one Babysitter's Club book as an hour of reading, mostly because it's too hard for me to differentiate stop starts, because I sometimes can't read these straight through just because I get interrupted or I have something I need to do. I'm going to count these each as 1 hour of reading time, the standard size ones, and I would normally say the specials would be 2 hours just because they're bigger, but it will work out if I just say everything will roughly tally up to 15 hours, which would be 1 hour of reading a day for a normal kid who's probably pretty busy during the summer. Now, I definitely read more than 1 hour a day as a kid, but I did not do a lot of outdoor things. I was a very indoor kid, so I just read a lot. And because that is what I did, I would have read more hours than this and probably more books than this, but we're going to just do this in a couple of days. 2 to 3 is my guess, maybe 4, depending, because there are a lot of these. But I want to get started tonight. I'm also wearing my Hex Girls Thorn shirt. Thorn is my favorite Hex Girl, and also I was very into Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost when it came out when I was 9, so that felt very perfectly themed for a vlog that is very nostalgic. Now, this is the last time you will probably see this shirt for today because I really want to put on pajamas. I really only had this on because I actually went to Spirit Halloween because I heard that there was a Thorn costume, and I've always wanted to be able to dress in Thorn's outfit from Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and they had it, and my wife found my size, and I got it, and I have it, and earlier today I did a whole thing of putting it on, and it's incredible, and I'm definitely wearing it anytime I need to wear a costume for all of the fall. And my library is doing a bingo that says costumes are recommended but not required, and I'm like, I'm going as Thorn to book bingo. It's happening. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that. It's happening. No one can stop me. I won't be wearing the shoes though. I'm gonna be wearing combat boots and some tights under the dress, because I don't want to walk in heels and break an ankle because I'm not coordinated enough for heels. But off of that tangent, I'm gonna get into pajamas. I'm going to take this giant basket. Oh, you should see the front. Krista got this for me. It says Catherine's Bookshop, I think is what that says. And then it has bearded irises in a little bookstore. But it has all my books in it. And I'm going to start reading these tonight. Krista has many football games to watch this weekend. So it's preseason. There's a lot of stuff. So I will be plowing through these. I'll probably update you in spurts. So I'll probably read a few. You're not going to get like a full spoiler-filled reaction to all of them. But I'll give you like thoughts, general synopsis, things like that. Possibly like reasons why I grabbed it. So this should just be a fun, chill video. At the end of the video, the goal is to go get personal pan pizzas at Pizza Hut. Like, we'll physically go to the Pizza Hut and have a little book it date night. I think a toy is squeaking. There's like a weird sound from downstairs. But that is where we are, Grumelinos. I'm gonna get into my pajamas. I'm gonna get cozy. And I will see you when I have a Babysitters Club update for you. So bye for now, Grumelinos. Hello, Grumelinos. This lighting is truly bizarre. Is that better? Yes, kind of. This is a book light. I don't want to completely blare you out, but it's a book light attached to a non-functioning lamp. Like it's you can see the cord. This is unplugged, so it won't turn on, and so I literally have a book light attached to it for ease of reading. I have finished 3 Babysitters Club books, so that's what I'm here to tell you. I read Babysitters Club #1, Christy's Great Idea, which is the first of the series. It does establish Christy, Marianne, Stacy, and Claudia. They are the only characters in the first handful of books, and the only members of the Babysitters Club. This is also the book where they reveal that, because these are kids' books, there will be some spoilers. Just, I think I said like not super spoilery, but we have them starting off as a club, and so Christy accidentally winds up babysitting 2 dogs. There's, oh my gosh, what even happened? There's just like some stuff. They try to have a pizza party, that doesn't work, and then we learn that Stacy has diabetes through a series of like very convoluted attempts at lying to the club. So it's a lot of character establishment and like how the club starts. So that is this book. We also get like how old they are, primary like identifying attributes. Like Christy is kind of a loudmouth. Marianne is quiet and has kind of a strict dad because her mom has died and he's her only parent. Claudia's parents are a little less strict. They let her do a lot of art stuff. But she does need to focus on school because she struggles with it a bit, and so they do have some stricter rules regarding like schoolwork. And then Stacy is newer to town, and she is like Claudia's best friend. This sort of works as like 2 duos. Christy and Marianne are best friends, and then Stacy and Claudia are best friends. And she is like very into like fashion and boys. And that's really the setup of this one, is just setting up the club. Then, oh, this is also the original covers for this. The next book I read is book 12, which is Claudia and the New Girl. This is a re-release cover from when the show went to Netflix. They made like a new series, which is very cute. I have seen both seasons. This one, Claudia is my favorite babysitter of the group. I even have her doll. There was a doll release from ages ago. I had an original one. I lost her, unfortunately, to a flood in my parents' basement when I was like a teenager. But Krista tracked it down for me, and she's wearing an American Girl outfit. You'll see her in this video for sure. But in this one, a new girl comes to school named Ashley. Claudia becomes friends with her, kind of. Ashley is very, very into art. But the problem is Ashley like very much wants Claudia to only be her friend. She's not really interested in what Claudia does outside of art, and that causes a lot of issues with the Babysitters Club because Claudia is missing meetings, and it's just like a whole lot of drama with the sitters. Ooh, lighting change! Oh, I'm very red now. Krista turned on the light because it's pretty late. So, in this one, I'll move this way so it's less bizarre. You can see me better though.
Tell me how lovely my hair looks.
Well, it's dark in here. Oh gosh, Charlie's gonna start screaming. I might have to come back. I'll be very quick. Krista is literally standing with the 2 older dogs, and if they leave the room, Charlie's gonna scream. But, oh, she already is. She's already yelling. She's very irritated. In this, Claudia, new girl, causes a lot of tension with the Babysitters Club, but it all works out. Also, there's an art show where Claudia's art is recognized, and it's very fun. It's very sweet at the end, but this one is a lot of tension for Claudia with the club. This next one is a Dawn book. I don't really read Dawn books. Dawn is in, I think Dawn was introduced close to this one. This is the first Dawn book that I think I've even read in a long time. Dawn is a newer sitter. She is from California. She moves to Stony Brook. And then Jesse and Mallory, the junior officers, are introduced in this one. There is a pageant. That's why there are girls on the cover. This is Little Miss Stony Brook and Dawn. It's book 15. Dawn, there's a lot of drama in this one with Dawn's family because her brother wants to go back to California to live with his dad because their parents are divorced and he hates being in Stony Brook. So that's going on with Dawn. And then Dawn is also, is helping the Pikes, 2 of the younger Pikes, do a pageant, even though all of the babysitters in the Babysitters Club think pageants are sexist. And then a lot of the other babysitters wind up involved in the pageant. So it's a discussion of beauty pageants and Dawn dealing with family issues. But it's like a very well done book. But those are the 3.
Objects to the objectification
of women. Yes. Very much she does. Okay, I need to take Charlie out. Krista's gonna take the big dogs out. But those are 3 books I read. I will be back when I've read more. I will talk to you later, Gremolinos, about more Babysitters Club books. Good morning, Gremolinos. I just took a shower and then I took Charlie out. Krista had already taken the big dogs out. So she went out at like 8 before we all got up. And so I took her out after she ate her breakfast and after my shower. But now I'm here because I made coffee. So I have mentioned these a little bit. So back in like last fall, I got selected for this Joffrey's contest where like I would get a free bag of coffee every month for a year. This is my 11th bag of coffee. It's chocolate macadamia nut and I got it earlier this week? Last week? I think it was earlier this week. My concept of time right now is so loosey-goosey because my folks were in town and so I took off days at work that I wouldn't normally take off, so Krista and I could spend time with them because we really wanted to be like, you're here, we want to spend time with you. So I like cannot remember when things occurred. I am very sure that I got this on like Monday of this week. I'm now that I'm like trying to remember. But yeah, so I've already tried it. It's pretty good. I made some in my Roswell P. Flower Memorial Library mug. Coffee. I normally would not drink hot coffee right now, but it's actually kind of cool outside, and with wet hair taking Charlie out, I actually got kind of cold. So I thought, hot coffee, why not? Let's do it. Let's get comfy. I also have 3 books that I've read. I read 3 Babysitters Club books last night before I went to bed, but it got so late that I just didn't update you. So surprisingly enough, these are actually all kind of in sequence. So I read, the last book that you saw was book 15, and then this is 16, 17, and 18. So in book 16, we follow Jessie, who's one of the junior officers, and she is asked to babysit for the Braddocks. And Matt Braddock is actually deaf, so his mom wants kind of a designated sitter who will take the time to learn sign to communicate with him. And so a lot of this is about Jessie teaching herself sign and also really promoting, sorry, I really need a sip of coffee, how important signing is for Matt, specifically at least, and for other people who are deaf. There is a lot of discussion of sign language and being able to communicate with those who cannot hear, and so that is discussed, and like the kids in town are learning sign language, which is so cute. There is a production that Jessie is in because she's a ballerina, that is a huge deal, and she does something very important and very kind, and she like sets up this whole thing for the deaf school that Matt goes to, or at least his class. And then we also get a character introduced who has not previously been friends with Jessie, but we learn her sister is deaf. Took my asthma meds, but they're taking a sec to kick in, I guess. And we get to see some character growth from this sort of like mean girl character from her ballet. But this one is just, it's very well done, and Anna Martin does give a special shout out to someone who read through her manuscript to ensure that it was like handling things appropriately. So this one is very sweet. I also really like Jessie because she's a ballerina. I do remember liking her stuff, but I didn't have as many of her books because I feel like there were less of them so when I was a kid, between the ages of like probably 3 and I don't even know, 3 into a lot later in life, I would get Babysitters Club books at Half Price Books, but they were always in the clearance kids section. They're not anymore because now they're nostalgic and they assume adults are buying them. But they used to be like 25 to 50 cents. The regular ones like this were normally 25 cents, and then the super specials were 50. Sometimes it was a little different depending on like the location in, I would go in Columbus. They, like, depending on your area, they might be a little more expensive, but like I would get a ton of them because my parents were like, oh, they're cheap, so you can have as many as you want, really. And I read them all the time. I had so many. I even had Babysitters Club board games. So I've read a lot of Babysitters Club books. It's been a while, so like I don't remember them as well. But I've been very into Babysitters Club for a long time because before I could physically read them, my dad would read them to me, and then when I could read, I started reading them. But moving on to book 17, Mary Ann's Bad Luck Mystery. In this, Mary Ann gets a chain letter. This one's also set near Halloween. And she decides she's not going to do it because she thinks chain letters are just really annoying and she doesn't want to pester people. She's like, I don't even know 20 people. And the babysitters don't really want to receive a chain letter. So she breaks this chain. And then after that, she gets a package. Or no, another like letter. Basically saying that she will have bad luck. And she, like, all of this stuff happens. Like tons of bad luck. Like, kids are getting sick, stuff is breaking, Mary Ann like spills juice all over her dress, like just like a ton of like random things. Like there winds up being like a small fire at the school in a trash can, a Bunsen burner explodes, like so many goofy things, and all of the sitters start freaking out because the bad luck seems to be affecting everyone, including the kids they babysit. And then Mary Ann gets like a good luck charm. She isn't wearing it on this, but there's like it's a bad luck charm. She gets in a bad luck charm. She's supposed just to wear it. She can't take it off. And of course, some of this, because they do leave it kind of open-ended at the end, because we never actually find out who sent the original chain letter, but we do learn that some mean girls at school who are upset that Mary Ann is dating Logan. Yes, Mary Ann is dating Logan. It's like a whole thing. She dates him consistently for like the whole series. But this girl who's jealous that Mary Ann is dating Logan had wanted to embarrass her in front of Logan at the cemetery on Halloween, and it was like a whole very spooky thing. But it was very like the girls all working together and having to deal with all of this drama. So that was fun. But yeah, there is a little bit of a like an open-ended thing at the end because they don't ever find out who sent the original chain letter. And then the last one is number 18, Stacy's Mistake. So this one, Stacy has moved back to New York City at this point to live with, or her parents are both living in New York City. But she's moved back to New York City and she invites the Babysitters Club, not the junior officers. So she invites Christy, Mary Ann, Claudia, and Dawn to come to New York City because there's some big meeting happening in her family's apartment complex and all of the parents will be very busy, which means all their kids need babysitters, and Stacy can't watch all of the babysitters, like all the kids, by herself. So her parents agreed to let her kind of have this big sleepover weekend where her friends will help babysit. But of course, everything is a little not great. The girls' train arrives and they get kind of lost, and then they don't really hit it off with Stacy's New York friends, and like everyone has their own kind of hang up about the weekend. So Christy thinks everything is too expensive. Mary Ann really loves New York City and like knows all these facts, but she can't like pause to take it all in. She's just kind of regurgitating facts. Claudia really wants to like really point out that she is Stacy's best friend from Stony Brook, even though Stacy has a best friend in New York. Like that's a whole drama thing. And then Dawn is terrified of New York City. Just a through point. She is terrified. The babysitting event in here is like a 4-hour thing where these the girls are taking all the kids from the apartment and they wind up taking them to the National Museum of Natural History or American History. They take them to a very big museum, and then they also take them to Central Park, but also some drama winds up in there. So there's a lot. This scene is actually is it? It kind of hints at the fact that like a kid kind of wanders off, and at Central Park someone gets a little sick because of ice cream and carousels. But a lot of this is just the girls being in New York City with Stacy, and Stacy realizing maybe it wasn't the best idea to invite them for a big weekend. This story also gets kind of redone in a super special, and I actually think this is mentioned by Anna M. Martin in that book, because she has all the babysitters plus Jesse and Mal come to New York City, and then there's also like a babysitting thing, and a lot of the same things occur where like Marianne knows a lot of things about New York City, but she's very much a tourist. Claudia gets to do some art stuff. Jesse does some ballet thing. Mal also takes art classes with Claudia. What else? Oh, Dawn is definitely terrified of New York City the entire time. Christy thinks everything is too expensive. So like a lot of that still like holds true, but we see less of Stacy's New York friends. There is also a scene where they get free tickets to go to a Broadway show, and I'm like, that is also in the super special, because I read that kind of recently. So I remembered, and there is a carryover. But I do have plenty more to read, so that's 6 of 13. So my plan, there we go, my hair is starting to dry. My plan today is to at least read the last 3 standard size Babysitters Club books I have left, because then I have 3 super specials and the brand new one, the summer special. So the goal is to at least read the 3 standard size Babysitters Club books today and then go from there, but I might be able to read more. For the super specials, I might check in after each one, because those will be kind of quick, because those are, just to make those a little faster, because each of those is like multiple points of view. But we shall see. I'm gonna go drink my coffee. I'll actually make a little more coffee. And then I'm gonna relax and read probably while Krista continues watching football. I'm really hoping you can't super hear that, mostly because there are very weird restrictions on like football appearing in things. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Not that if I got a copyright strike, I'm not monetized, so it doesn't really do much, but I'm hoping you can't really hear it. Fingers crossed. I don't think you can, or if you can, it shouldn't be that audible. Anyway, I'm gonna make more coffee. I will talk to you when I have finished some more Babysitters Club books, Gremolinos. Hello, Gremolinos. This lighting feels very camp. Like I'm gonna tell you a ghost story. I don't know that I can make it any less ominous. Oh, look at that. Oh, that actually works. Krista is lighting me from the side. Then if I do this, ta-da! My wife. Lighting director extraordinaire. This is gonna be a quick clip. I have read 3 more Babysitters Club books that are in my lap. 2 of these are the newer covers from when I went to Netflix. So the first one was the Babysitters Club number 25, Marianne and the Search for Tigger. And in this one, her poor little kitten goes missing. So Tigger is left in the yard, which appears to have a fence. I'm not quite sure. But he gets out while Marianne is at a Babysitters Club meeting, and then the entire book really revolves around trying to find Tigger, and then the fact that Logan, her boyfriend, well, boyfriend in quotes, because he's never actually said he's her boyfriend, at least at this point in the series, he is like very distracted, so he keeps not taking it as seriously as Marianne, but he does really work to try and help her get Tigger back, because someone says like, I have Tigger, $100, you get him back alive, and everyone freaks out. But he's actually totally okay. Tigger comes home. That is really the whole premise of this, though there is a little boy with allergies that reveals where Tigger is located, and it results in Marianne getting even more angry at Logan, even though Logan doesn't have Tigger. It's just like a lot of Marianne drama, but the poor little kitten is okay. Tigger is okay. He gets returned. So this is really Marianne and Tigger. Then the next one I read is Babysitters Club number 29, Mallory and the Mystery Diary. Now, this feels a lot like the Babysitters Club mystery series, and I will show you some ads in the next one that reveal why it does. So there are a number of like mystery-focused Babysitters Club books before Anna M. Martin started the mystery series. I love the Babysitters Club Mysteries offshoot series. But in this one, Mallory finds a trunk in Stacy's attic because Stacy and her mom have moved back to Stony Brook after Stacy's parents get divorced. And they're like, we can't fit all of our stuff in the attic that we need to. You can go ahead and have the trunk. And she finds a diary. And in the diary, it says that this girl and her father will haunt Stacy's house forever. Bruni, stop licking. Until the mystery of this missing painting is revealed. So a painting of this young girl's mother was her name? That is Charlie, who would like to be out. She has been out a number of times today. She even got to run around the yard a lot. But now she's grumpy because we stopped the TV. So she's like, why aren't you taking me out if you're talking to a camera? But yes, this young girl has written about this missing painting, and her grandpa wrote her and her father out of her will, saying that they stole the painting, and it actually, that is not the case. We do get a reveal of where the painting is, what happened to the painting, and it's actually kind of very interesting, and Stacy's mother has to pay for an art restorationist. I think that's how you say it, art restorer, I'm probably saying it wrong, to like take up the painting and make it whole again, because someone has actually painted over it. And also throughout this, Mallory is tutoring a young boy named, is he even listed on the back? No, so she's tutoring a little boy who is having trouble reading, and she finds fun ways to get him interested in reading, which includes reading mysteries and writing comic books, and it's a very sweet little story all around. Then, so the next one I read jumps pretty far in the series, and it's Babysitter Club number 49, Claudia and the Genius of Elm Street. And I, of course, had to get another Claudia book into this vlog. Claudia winds up babysitting for a girl named Rosie, who's very, very smart. She's very talented, and she's basically being managed by her parents to be a celebrity for the most part. They're having her audition for a ton of things. She never has any free time. She's always in lessons, and she acts kind of odd. Claudia kind of feels like she brushes her off a lot, and then the reason Janine is in this is Rosie needs help with her homework, and no one can actually like super help her, so they called Janine to kind of come in as a pitch hit sitter to answer a bunch of questions. And even Janine seems kind of that's not the right phrasing. Janine just doesn't seem to really click with Rosie either, and Janine is relatively patient. She has tutored Claudia before, but she feels kind of like, they even note in one of the chapters that Janine kind of brusquely says, like, I'm gonna go, Rosie doesn't even need me. And they're like, oh, that's weird. Janine is normally pretty nice. But it turns out that Rosie is actually miserable because her parents are forcing her to do so much stuff. And she really wants to draw. She is not allowed to draw. They call it just doodling. And she really wants to actually do that as like a fun project instead of all the other things she's working on, like trying to get into TV shows and do commercials. There's a mention of gremlins in this, like lowercase gremlins in a commercial. Which is very fun. It's like these little, Claudia calls them little gremlins in a can. And throughout this, the reason Rosie really likes Claudia is also working on an art project of her own where she's drawing junk food, and Rosie thinks it's incredible, and she just wants to spend time with Claudia and like do art that her parents don't really let her do, which is very sweet. So Claudia and Rosie really bond in this. And the quick thing I wanted to show you in this is there are a ton of ads in the back, which are very of the time. So it points out to you that you can not only get a 1992 calendar, you can get videos number 3 and 4 available wherever videos are sold, and it's rated G for great, not for general audiences, for great. And then it points out that the Mysteries is the new series. So it's Babysitter Club Mysteries by Anna Martin, and there are 2 out. You can get Stacy and the Missing Ring, Beware Dawn, and Mallory and the Ghost Cat will be out in February. And it says they're going to come out every 3 months. So Anna Martin is writing like a fiend. And then there's also an ad for the Babysitter Club board game, which I did have. I also had the mystery version that came out much later. And there's also an ad for the Babysitter Club show on HBO, which I have seen. At a certain point, it was randomly on Peacock. And I watched it in a different vlog. So if you watched any of my other Babysitters Club vlogs, I watched the series I loved as a kid. I made Krista watch the horrible 1990s movie. Do not watch it. It's not good. We watched that. It's truly bad. And then I haven't watched the Netflix one in here, but I have watched that slightly more recently. And the Netflix one is very cute. It just, because I'm older now, I can see that it would really resonate with younger audiences, but it's just not the one I grew up with. But those are the 3 regular ones. Kira, please stop licking. That's why Krista's snapping. If you hear her snapping, she's trying to get the dogs to not lick, and also not interrupt me. But I'm in my pajamas on. I am now moving on to the super specials, so I'll try and update you a little more regularly. Like, it'll be like for each book probably, maybe not, we'll see, because those are bigger. But that is it for now, Grumblinos. I'm gonna get on pajamas. I'm gonna let Krista get back to watching football, and I will probably take out the very grumbly Charlie. Thank you again to my lighting woman, who I cannot show you without blinding you with the lights. But thank you again to my wife for the lighting. I'm gonna go put on pajamas. I will probably talk to you tomorrow, Grumelinos. Good morning, Grumelinos. It is Monday, and I have gotten, that's not the right phrasing. Did get sounds correct. I did get a lot of reading done yesterday. I just didn't talk to you. I am wearing my Furby shirt, which is secretly a horror shirt because it says Furby never sleeps. And then it has this lovely Furby on it. This is from Five Below a while ago, but I love this shirt. I also did a tarot pull, so I have that prepped, and then I can talk about the books. So I drew the Devil right side up. So that's the card, if it'll focus. I know sometimes it doesn't want to, and I have not done any pulls in this vlog, so I feel like it's gonna be very like no. You can kind of see it. I'm sorry it's blurry. So this one is negativity, attachment, restriction. This card may appear threatening, but it is here to show you that you need to be completely honest with yourself. It's pointing out your true shadow, the forces or ideas that hold you back. What is it that's inhibiting you? The devil often shows dependency on something, be it another person, a substance, materialism, habits, or your own mind. Often the devil shows up to remind you that you have control over yourself. You can break free of a negative pattern in your life. You must identify it honestly and be real about how it's hindering you. Of course, this isn't an immediate fix. Change will take time, and the devil reminds you to overcome whatever's holding you back. Step by step, giving yourself permission to fail and try again. In order to break free from the pattern that is holding you down, you must accept it as a problem first. The models on that are Malik Ansari, they, them, Constance Shoemaker, she, her, and Angie Cooper, she, her. And when I was talking to my wife, she wanted to say like how that connects to like my life, and honestly, I don't know. This one, I mean, I don't 100% know. I'm gonna hold it back up and see if maybe it'll focus this time. There, it did. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I would give an insight into my life if I knew. But I do think sometimes when you like pull a card, it's just helpful to like reflect on it. So I think reflecting is good. So I will reflect and see if anything comes to me. I probably won't share that with you because who knows when I'll think of that. I'm gonna reshuffle these really quick and put them away. Hi, cat yelled at me. Brain. Okay, so now onto the two Babysitters Club books. So super specials are a little difficult to talk about because they are multiple points of view, but I will try and recap them as best I can for you. So the Babysitters Club Super Special number 2, Babysitter Summer Vacation. All of the girls go to Camp Mohawk for the summer. Even Stacy, who lives in New York, she convinces her parents to let her go. Yes, the name is Camp Mohawk. Yes, there's a discussion of how like inaccurate and incorrect things are at this camp in regards to Native people. And they point that out. They're like, that's a little not correct. But all the girls wind up going to camp, and everyone is sort of a counselor in training. So our like main Babysitters Club, they are all CITs, and then Mallory and Jessie are CITs in training. So they're helping the little kids, but they still are participating in more camp related things, like activities themselves. So they are also campers as well as preparing to be counselors. So there's a lot of drama in parts of this. Everyone's kind of having a hard time. Well, not everyone. Christy and Marianne kind of have a hard time with their bunkmates because everyone is so different from them. The two of them do say that they feel a little bit younger than everyone, even though they're the same age, and they're not always like as into things as other people. They both handle it very well, but Christy's is more, they want her to be girlier, and she's like, but I'm not. And Marianne is kind of quiet and doesn't really want to do certain things and winds up having to be sort of more forceful to try and get people to accept her and understand her, and that does work out for them. Stacy winds up dealing with every single camp ailment at once, which sucks, but that is her plot. Jessie and Mallory are helping the little kids learn how to do a dance, and we do very much focus on racism with their plot because people are jerks to both of them. Mallory is white, but what they do is they like are insulting Jessie and then lumping Mallory into it and like making things, like making racist comments, comparing the two of them. It's very not good. There's like a learning moment in there for those campers for the most part, but that is kind of the focus of their plot. That's them. Claudia falls for a boy, but it also does set up something that I know is coming. Readers at the time would not have. But Claudia's Mimi, her grandma, she does die in the series, and she meets a boy and falls for him, and he is talking about how his grandmother has died and then explaining how his grief feels. So that is kind of like a setup for a book that I know is coming very shortly after this, just based on how people are talking about Mimi. Dawn, what is Dawn's? Oh, Dawn has a camper who's very smart but doesn't really want to be at camp, but they become friends. And also she gets lost in the woods with all of her kids, which is not her fault. It's the counselor in charge's fault. Binks is yelling at me. Who else? I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Stacy, Dawn, Marianne, Christy, Claudia, Ellen, Jesse. Oh, Logan gets some chapters too, but that's more like him in relationship to Marianne. So that's really this. It is garbage day, so it's very loud. Oh, the dogs are gonna bark very soon. I may actually stop and restart because they are going to scream at the garbage man. Maybe not. Maybe this is recycling only. We're gonna see. Super special number 4 is Babysitter's Island Adventure. I am so shocked. Actually, I'm not shocked I haven't read this one, but I'm so excited I did get to read this one. I didn't own a lot of the super specials as a kid because they were more expensive than the standard ones, so I just didn't grab them. Also, I feel like the super specials were less commonly in the clearance section at Half Price Books when I was growing up, but in this one, so normally it's like writing down your day as it was, like journal entries that are then compiled. So is it Stacy who puts this one together? Yeah, Stacy wants this one put together. In this one, Dawn is having people think back on a weekend that occurred where she and Claudia got stuck on an island with her brother Jeff, so Dawn's brother Jeff, and 3 children. Becca, Jesse's little sister, Haley Braddock, who was in Jesse's Secret Language, and Jamie, is it Jamie? I'm pretty sure it's Jamie, maybe not. Hold on, I gotta double check what his name is. Yeah, it is Jamie Radowski. Claudia and Dawn are like boat racing on a day and they tie, and so they think like, oh, we should do a second race as a tiebreaker, and they kind of turn it into a, oh, we'll go sailing and Jeff will go with Dawn, and then the little kids want to come, so they come along, but then a huge storm rolls in and they all literally get stuck on an island, and it is wild. The Coast Guard is involved, and then everyone else's plot is really talking about how they're reacting to the events of their 2 friends and 3 small children being missing. And so it's a lot of like, this is what was going on, this is what was happening, this was so stressful, and we watch like the survival of them being recounted. So this is wild. Like, this is not a thing I would expect to be a super special, but it was very Claudia focused. Claudia got to be a very like in charge, awesome, like, I'm gonna try and help us get saved and make sure that we don't get dehydrated. So that was very cool. I did really like this one. So those are those 2. I am now on to my final super special. Now, this is not the last book in the vlog. I have one more, but this is the final super special. And this is super special number 9, starring the Babysitters Club. And all that I know so far is that Stony Brook Elementary, Middle, and High School are jointly going to be putting on Peter Pan. And that is what I know. I did not read very much of this last night. Also, the bookmark I'm using, no clue. It was in the literal first book I opened up. No idea. Someone just put it in there. It says, read the Adirondack Kids. Don't know. It's a series for children. But it was just in the first book, and I've just been using it because I was just going to slide it into this one when I was done, and just let someone have it. But yeah, this is what I'm on so far. My hope is to read some a little bit this morning because I'm early to work, and then read some during my lunch break. But that is it for now. Oh, also I'm drinking iced coffee out of my Care Bear cup. That's really it right now. So I will talk to you when I have an update on Babysitters Club Super Special number 9, and then we move on to the final book. So yeah, hopefully I can knock this one out. I have already, ooh, that's what I was going to show you. I have completed one full, sorry, I have my work stuff on already, but I have completed one full Summer Reading Club slip. The Babysitters Club books finished out the like bottom row. They do an adult summer reading program, and you like check off hours of reading, and so I have read 50 hours total. for that one, and I've already submitted a couple because it started a while ago, but it ends this month, so I'm trying to knock some stuff out. But yeah, so I'll update you when I have a Babysitters Club update, Grumbly knows. And yeah, hopefully that'll be by like the end of my workday. That would be great. So I will talk to you hopefully then, Grumbly knows. Hi, Grumblinos. So it's actually the start of my lunch break. I'm taking a couple minutes to recap you, but I am already done with Super Special number 9, starring the Babysitters Club, solely because something happened at work where none of us could actually do anything for a little bit. And I had time this morning, so I was like watching for an update from folks to tell me when I could get back into the program I need to get into. And so I was like, well, I'll just like read while I'm waiting, and I managed to finish it before the fix came in. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll just update them. So in this, I already mentioned that Peter Pan is being performed and there are auditions and all of this. The key focus of this at the beginning is Jessie, who really wants to be Peter Pan and also has just gotten the position as the 6th grade, like, reporter of sorts for the school paper, but she only has to do like a monthly article, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna write about Peter Pan and I'm totally gonna be Peter Pan and it's gonna be incredible. The problem is Jessie doesn't actually get Peter Pan. As you can tell from the cover, Christy does. So Christy wants to be in the play, but she wants to be Nana / the crocodile because it's one performer, and Jessie expects to be Peter Pan. But the problem is when she auditions, while she has gotten the lead in a number of ballets, her singing and acting aren't, it's very different. Dancing and just having to dance is a bit different than dancing, singing, and acting all at the same time. And she's a bit young. So the director wants to go someone older, and also does say, like, you all kind of have the same experience level, you're an incredible dancer, but I think you would be better as like a pirate, and then she is going to help with dancing. She decides not to be a pirate. She's actually pretty upset she's not Peter Pan, and so she's like, no, I'll just help with dancing, and she's pretty upset. Then because of that, we don't really get a lot of check-ins from Jessie. We also get a few from Mallory, who is doing costumes, but then she's getting like bored and then kind of like weird about being on costumes because she has to measure boys, like get their measurements for their costumes, and she doesn't want to do that because it's uncomfortable. So then that gets a little difficult, and then because she like doesn't really want to be doing it, she kind of steps on Marianne's toes because Marianne does not want to be in the play, but winds up being asked to be the backstage babysitter because there are so many kids, and the director and the teachers who are involved can only do so much. So Marianne is doing that, but then Mallory keeps trying to do it for her, and it upsets Marianne, but they get it all worked out. Marianne, oh, I need a sip of coffee. Marianne is around for the whole play. We also get some little bits from Logan, her boyfriend, who is playing a pirate. He actually gets kicked out of the show and let back in, so that's kind of like his little bit. We also get Jackie Rodowsky, who is playing Michael Darling. And so, yeah, it's Jackie, right? Yeah, Jackie Rodowsky. And so we get his little tiny chapters where he explains like, oh, I'm afraid of the crocodile because there's like a guy in it and it's creeping him out. And then what it's like being one of the Darling children. Stacy winds up being cast as Mrs. Darling, and she and Sam, who is Christy's brother, have actually been kind of like going on dates, and they wind up playing Mr. and Mrs. Darling, which kind of makes her super uncomfortable because they like haven't really told a lot of people they're dating, and so she's like, ah, this is so weird. We get one little thing from Sam because he actually doesn't realize he's stressing Stacey out because he keeps making jokes and being like, oh, Mrs. Darling, oh, mother, because back then that's how you referred to your wife. And so it's like all of that, and like we get a little bit from him because he's only really doing that because his friends are kind of judgy about him dating a girl who's in 8th grade when he's in 10th. So there's like that element. What else? We barely get any Claudia in this because she's working on scenery, so we get like 2 little chapters from her. Her scenery looks great, but that's really all we get. Dawn winds up being Wendy, which she finds very stressful because she wanted to be Tiger Lily. But she causes a bit of an issue because she keeps trying to change her lines because she thinks the show is sexist. Because she's like, well, Wendy could be teaching them instead of doing it for them, but the director's like, you can't change her lines, like we have to do the show as written, which causes a bit of a kerfuffle, but everything goes fine. We also get Koki, who is this girl they super dislike. She writes one thing for Jessie. She actually gets the Tiger Lily part, and she's basically in here to kind of be a jerk and mess with people. But that's the part she gets. Who else? I think that's everyone. So it's really just following how the show is going, and it's fun. I wish there was more Claudia, but I can't complain too much because Claudia is most of the last one I read, the island adventure. But yeah, so it was fun. It did show Jessie having to understand that the director was like, well, you've been the lead in other things and you're as experienced as everyone else in terms of acting. So like, I thought it was more fair to give it to someone who was like older. So there is that. But that is the end of this book. The downside here is the final book in this vlog is downstairs, and I don't want to go downstairs just yet because I'm taking out the dogs at noon. I'm taking out the dogs and I don't want to like run down, grab it, show it to you. Wow, timelines. I was like, wait, noon? I have to take the dogs out. But I don't want to go down, I didn't want to go down, grab the book and come back. So I didn't. So, I'm just like waiting it out. I'll show it to you later today. Krista actually has court, so I'll probably be reading a little bit after work. Wow, my brain is soup. But I did finish that. So there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Blah, 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 blah. I think that's it. Yeah, I just have to take the dogs out and then I'll probably grab it. I should not have really any time to read the rest of the day, because I do need to eat. But yeah, so I think that's it for now. I will show you the final book in the vlog after work, and all of that jazz. And I will see you then. I may be in a different shirt. I will probably put on my Charlie is a Puppy shirt, which is my Tina Belcher pajama top, which you've already seen. But she ripped a hole in it over the weekend, and so I just am like, I should probably just wear that shirt whenever around her after work, because if she rips it again, it's not a big deal. So you'll probably see me in that. But yeah, so I will talk to you later today, Gremolinos, probably. Unless I just talk to you tomorrow morning. We'll see how far along I get in the final Babysitters Club book. But yeah, so we'll talk about that at some point. Today, tomorrow, but in the next clip for you. Hello, Gremolinos. If you notice my hair looks a little wet, I did take a shower before work, hasn't dried all the way. But I am here because I have 1, tarot pull for the day, and 2, I have finished my book. So first, for the tarot pull, I drew the 7 of Cups, which is Illusion, Opportunities, Choices. This card actually looks very cool, so I'm hoping it focuses. Maybe. There we go. And so this says, so I drew it right side up. The 7 of Cups is a card of forward movement through new opportunities, though be warned. Some of these openings may be illusions carrying deceit. When there are so many options, it can be difficult to choose the right one for you. You may want to go for the nice and easy choice or the most exciting one, but in times like these, you should really listen to your gut. Try your best to weigh all options based on whether they align with your goals and beliefs. Evaluation of each option is key. What kind of work goes with each choice and what benefits will you reap? This card can also suggest wishful thinking about what you want for yourself in the future. However, thinking is just that. Nothing will happen unless you start making moves. Contemplating a goal and working toward a goal are 2 very different forms of action, and now is the time to take that step forward. Try choosing one objective to focus on rather than attempting to make all your goals happen at once. Spend time with each idea and figure out which ones are the most attainable. Start from there, achieving tiny victories for yourself, and then move on to the bigger and more time-consuming ideas. Do what feels right to you. And then Tara Zeus, she, her is the model. So that is that card. I don't know. Again, this one's like the other one. I don't, like, there's not a specific thing that I can, like, think of. It could tie into, like, video idea stuff, or things I want to do for YouTube, or, like, creative projects I want to work on. I'm not entirely sure. I have been puzzling out some, like, ideas for videos. I have a couple already, like, well, I have 1 solidly planned, admittedly. But I have a few that I'm, like, waffling about. So that could be it. I don't know. But I've reshuffled those. I'll put those away in a sec. And then I finished the Babysitters Club Fan Edition Babysitter Summer. Now, Anna Martin is one of the writers for this. It's a very fun cover. And then Becky Albertalli co-booth, Sarah Kuhn, Peter Larangis? I'm gonna say Johanna. Maybe Johanna, but I would bet it's Johanna. And Malcolm and Emma Straub. They are all listed in the back, but not everyone is listed their specific babysitter, and it's not labeled anywhere inside. Becky Albertalli did mention she wrote Christy on her Instagram, and a couple people mentioned a specific babysitter. So I think it's divided up by sitter, but, like, I'm not entirely sure because, again, not all of them mentioned who they wrote, so I don't know if some of them wrote, like, together or how that worked. My guess would be each of them wrote a different one. It just wasn't attributed to them in the front or in the chapters. Now, this is broken up into a variety of chapters, and we're following each of the 7 sitters over one summer. So the key thing here is Marianne is staying in Stony Brook, and she doesn't really have any plans. So she is kind of like, well, everyone's doing fun stuff or like has things going on, because Stacy is also staying in Stony Brook, but she has like a babysitting gig lined up, and she'll be pretty busy until everyone gets back from all their wild adventures. So Christy is going to an island off Massachusetts. I think it's called like Booth, something like that. But she's going to an island with the Papadakis to babysit their kids, because they're still pretty busy, but they wanted to go on a family vacation. It's like a seasonal, they always go to this island, but they needed a little help. Then Dawn is at like theater camp, and then Jessie is at her mom's family reunion, and then Claudia has gone to San Francisco. She's staying in Little Tokyo with family friends and working at an art program in the area. Then Mallory is going to Ireland. So in all of this, I feel like some of the stories hit for me a little bit better than others. So Becky Albertelli very specifically on Instagram was pointing out that she gives Christy a like queer coming of age plot. She does not give her identifiers. I'm assuming Anna Martin just like didn't want to sign off on a specific identity, or maybe Becky Albertelli didn't have one in mind. So in this, Christy meets a girl named Rowan and has a crush on her is really the core plot, but Christy doesn't think she's ever had a crush on a girl. There is a mention of like a brief kind of thing, but not anything specific. So that does come up, and that's really what her story is. It's Christy kind of grappling with having feelings for a girl for the first time. Then Marianne is in Stony Brook, so she is tasked by her dad to try and think of things to do to like get her out of the house, or at least get her doing something besides just like sitting and like knitting or quilting, even though she loves doing stuff inside. She winds up volunteering for the animal shelter to take care of kittens because she loves her cat Tigger. And so she winds up doing that, and they foster some kittens. It's very sweet. And she also opens up like a little public library, like think free library, but it's like in her house instead of outside. And Karen, Christy's sister, stepsister, winds up helping her with that. So that's Marianne's plot. She also does stand up to some of the bullies in the town, who are being jerks about her not really having fun, quote unquote, plans. Then Dawn is at this theater camp, and what throws me off is it's like a Broadway camp and her brother is with her, and I'm like, why are you at this camp? I have not read a lot of Dawn's stories, but the ones I have read, Dawn doesn't really show any interest in like performance. So I think I'm just like missing something, because Dawn like wrote a musical, and I was like, oh, I just don't know enough about Dawn, I guess. Which is my own fault, because I really have read, even as a kid, like I just didn't read a lot of Dawn's books. But Dawn and Jeff are at camp. And it was just like an odd, like I didn't particularly care, which sounds rude, but like I just couldn't really bring myself to care that much about Dawn and Jeff at theater camp. Mallory is in Ireland, and there is an element with horses, and that's interesting because she's apparently been bucked off a horse, and doesn't want to ride but has to ride, and getting to know cousins in Ireland. Her story is pretty short. I feel like Mallory doesn't get that many chapters. Stacy again is still in Stony Brook. She's supposed to be babysitting Charlotte Johansson, and she is, but she gets caught up in this crush she has on a boy at the fair, and that does not go well for Stacy. The guy's kind of a jerk. So that is her plot. But what's interesting is she dates Sam, Christy's older brother in the books, and I would have thought she was with Sam during this, but I guess not. In the timeline that we're doing, she's not dating Sam. Then Claudia is acting as like kind of a counselor in training of sorts at this art camp in Little Tokyo, and she's also supposed to be able to work on her own big project to oh gosh, what is it? She wants to do a project that represents her Mimi, her grandma, who has died kind of recently in this. And she also wants to make friends with Betty, who is the granddaughter of her Mimi's best friend, who has also died. So this is a lot about exploring grief, honoring your ancestors. That's what it was. Claudia's are, again, some of my favorite parts in this. Claudia is my favorite, but also Claudia's just feel very like rooted in like dealing with grief, and then trying to like connect with someone while you're grieving, but also like using art and like finding yourself within your culture, even though you've never really been able to integrate with it as much, because there's not a lot of Japanese people in Stony Brook. So that was very good. And then Jessie's plot in this one is a bit different for her. So she's actually injured her foot. She has like stress fractures in her feet. So she can't dance, and she was supposed to go to this big dancing camp. So her mom is taking her to this reunion at a historically black college. I think it was Ida B. Wells. For this thing she's doing with her former roommate, and her former roommate's daughter will be there and other children, and so Jessie will be babysitting, and so she's supposed to be resting her foot but also babysitting. And that was what was interesting to me. She was like, oh, you can help babysit, and I was like, but your daughter's been icing her foot, so is she really supposed to be running around with kids? And that even comes up, like Jessie's like, oh, it hurts really bad because we're like running around. And I was like, I understand you don't want to tell your mom because you're afraid you'll have to rest your foot more, but your mom is also like, oh, you're gonna babysit when you're supposed to be resting your foot. So I was like, this is fine. It focuses a lot on like your passions and like being afraid that you won't be able to like do them. And it was well written. It was so interesting to see Jessie only like choreographing a dance, which does occur in a number of books where she just choreographs and she doesn't dance herself. But it was interesting that we focused on an injury because that's, to my knowledge, not come up. I've read some Jessie stuff, and normally she's totally fine. So that was interesting. It just, some of these felt like the Stacy one was definitely a Boy Crazy Stacy plot. The Dawn thing, I must be missing something. If you were a Babysitters Club fan who was really into Dawn, could you tell me if there are plots about her like wanting to perform? Because she's in the Peter Pan one, but she didn't want to be Wendy. She wanted to be Tiger Lily, and she can sing, but she doesn't mention like writing or performing. Maybe that's added in the newer ones, I don't know. But everyone's felt very tied to their character, except Dawn's for me. Mallory's was fine. She doesn't do much writing in it, even though she wants to be a writer. She gets very swept up in like being in Ireland, which makes sense, but she does start writing something at the end. And Jessie's did examine her and dance. It just was handled differently than it is in other books. So that is the final book, which means I am getting Pizza Hut. So Krista and I for dinner tonight are going to go to Pizza Hut. I've already told her. We talked about this in advance because I was like, I'm bringing all the books because I would like to try and get a thumbnail in the booth. So I'm bringing all the Babysitters Club books. I'm bringing my Claudia doll, who I'm just gonna like move you real quick. Do not judge the angles. So my Claudia doll is wearing American Girl clothes. She is right there. She's wearing Courtney, the 1980s doll. Her stuff, because Krista found her for me. My original doll was damaged in a flood at my parents' house, but the one Krista found for me did not have all of its original clothes. It had the boots and the overalls, and so I bought her some additional outfit pieces to look more Claudia to me. So she is also coming because I want her in the thumbnail. So yes, I was like, I'm bringing all this stuff. I know that's gonna be a little weird, but we'll take the photo. I'll probably do an outfit change into something. I mean, I could wear this, but I'll probably try and do something without a logo on it because the Babysitters Club TV show, they like never had logos on their clothes. That is the plan for today. So I'm bringing you along. You're coming to Pizza Hut for personal pan pizzas. We're also getting cheese bread because we're adults and need more than a personal pan pizza. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna have a little book it themed date night because I've achieved all of the Babysitters Club books that counted toward my made up book it goal. So there is that. So your next clips will be at Pizza Hut, Gremolinos.
We're at Pizza Hut in a corner. No one can see us. Behold, for smaller appetites. Pizza Hut. Book it. Look at it. It says book it. Okay. Behold the personal pan. We also got cheese sticks and some wings. And that's Krista's. But pizza. Now to get that thumbnail before we eat. And then we're eating.
Hello, Gremolinos. 15 minutes from when you saw the pizza. We're in the car. We did eat. We ate the pizzas and we ate some of the breadsticks. We're actually very full. So we're taking the rest of it to go. We'll eat it for lunch tomorrow. And then the library is actually still open. So I'm gonna drop off all of the books that I brought with me for the thumbnail. Also, Claudia is comfortably in a bag now. Her legs are wobbly and she was like bent sideways in the bag. It was very disconcerting. But yeah, that is the Babysitters Club Book It vlog, complete with Book It personal pan pizza. Not technically an actual Book It personal pan pizza. We did not get that for free. I did pay for it. Was it $3?
I don't know. The total bill before we tipped was $49.40. But we got wings and we got cheesy sticks and I got a soda.
Yeah. So I actually think they're supposed to be retro price, but we weren't sure if it was in store, but we still don't really know. They're doing like a retro menu because of the Book It relaunch and all that. But yeah, so that is the vlog, Gremolinos. Like, subscribe, follow if you want to see more things. But yeah, so we're headed to the library, and I will see you in the next one, Gremolinos. Bye!